the topic, whomever it is, must be Dr. N. Gayatri. She has chosen an excellent topic which is going to help everybody whomever is participating today. This is about the healthy digital habits and mental well-being, and with the kind of digital era we are all undergoing today, the kind of time which we are spending in the digital media for positive and as well as time sharing and leisurely also has got tremendous amount of effect on our mental as well as physical health, which is going to be most appropriately discussed by our the guest speaker today, Dr. N. Gayatri. I welcome Dr. N. Gayatri, who is actually a postdoctoral fellow under MHRD RUSA 2.0 at Alagappa University, and UGC net qualified and great academician. She has extensive research experience and has published 23 research papers in various national and international journals, including Taylor and Francis and etc. She has been a recipient of the ICSSR doctoral fellowship during her PhD tenure. Google Scholar citation stands 140, H index of 7 and I10 index of 5. Recently won the Outstanding Writing Style Award in Harvard International Review Academic Writing Contest. And her areas of interest are family integration, women's studies, positive psychology and behavioral studies. That is, whatever is the qualification and the laurels which she has gained so far in her experience, which is going to be an excellent opportunity for us to hear from her and learn a lot of things about this issue, which is more critical and every one of us is facing in our day-to-day life, which I hope it's going to be a very knowledge and very informative session. And I am very fortunate to introduce Dr. N. Gayatri, and I welcome Dr. N. Gayatri to take the forum, and the forum is yours, Dr. Gayatri. Please proceed.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that very brief introduction about me. That's very kind of you. And first of all, I would like to thank Coimbatore Management Association for giving me this opportunity to deliver a session. And thank you, Vidya ma'am, for working behind the scenes and for organizing this particular session. So I thank everyone, all the members and the students who are here to listen to the session. So thank you once again, everyone. So before I get into today's topic, which is healthy digital habits and mental well-being, so which, as sir was saying, we do face it, on our day-to-day life. So before I move into the topic, so I would like to give you two disclaimers. Number one, I'm not any professional psychologist or a professional person who could give some, psychological advices or so. So one, and number two is whatever that I'm going to discuss today. Okay, so that is all nothing new. Okay, it is all which we already knew, which we would have read in some articles, which we would have had a thought about it, which we would have talked with our colleagues or with our friends or the family. So somehow or the other, all the points that we are going to see today is all being known to us. Somehow I'm trying to put this in an aggregate format so that we have a comprehensive outlook of the particular topic or the area. So yes, so in today's digital era, it is no secret that we all are spending more and more time on our gadgets, be it a mobile phone, be it laptops or iPads, so anything for that matter. So we do spend a lot of our time on that. So, but what does that mean for our mental health is a big question mark, I would say. So there are what here I would say. So as I have disclaimed that I'm not a medical professional or psychological professional. So what I can do to contribute towards this topic today is I've gone through some research articles, and people have done some body of research and added some knowledge to this existing domain. So I have taken some of the studies and would like to take up and give you some aggregate findings of those studies, and what could we actually derive from those studies is what we are going to see today. So there are plenty of research has been done on this particular domain, which explores both positive and negative sides of having this handling digital gadgets. So there are studies which says that having too much screen time can have negative impact on the mental well-being of the individuals. There are studies which says that as we spend more time on digital devices, we are more likely to experience symptoms like anxiety, depression, and to an extent sleep deprivation as well. And there are some positive studies also where it says when you have when you spend time on some social medias, it gives a relief from loneliness, and it gives some sort of company. And there are positive as well as negative upshots of having this digital devices in our hands in day-to-day life. So going to the first slide. Yeah, here are the newspaper articles that I've collected from some recent past a couple of months, which it got published in past couple of months. So I've just aggregated all these studies. So these are articles which majorly discuss about many ways that in which our digital habits can have a negative impact on our physical, mental, and emotional well-being as well. So they also offer some tips on how can we actually break these addictions, break these habits, and come out, and so that we can improve our overall well-being. So these are all some of the articles that I've gone through. And yes, so it talks about some of the ill effects of the digital, having digital habits. Some of the ill effects of having this digital habits. Number one, yes, when we have constant bombardment of too much of information, okay, maybe on anything, but too much information that stimulates to increase in stress and depression, so anxiety as such. And then number two is it definitely disturbs the sleep. So the blue light that emits from the digital screens can interfere your sleep patterns, and it makes it harder to fall asleep, and it disturbs your sleep pattern as such. And weight gain, of course, sitting in front of system for so much of time, so it leads to obesity and reduced productivity. So excessive screen time definitely will lead to decrease in productivity, maybe in work or in college, whatever. So it definitely leads in productivity. So much of distractions that we get that leads to less productivity. And then increased social isolation. Still, as we spend more time online, so we tend to socially isolate. Actual social life is getting disturbed, and we get socially isolated and kind of feel loneliness. And yes, attention deficit. So this is a medical term, so I just got to know what it is. So this actually, which means that we might be feeling difficult to pay attention to something when we actually wanted to. So that kind of disorder is also one of the ill effect. And eye strain, headaches, neck and shoulder pain. In some point of our time when we use our digital devices, we would have faced all these pains. Moving on, yes, as I was saying at the initial stage, there are also some positive aspects of positive effects of having this digital technology with us. So one of the study which I've taken, the study goes like the impact of digital technology use on adolescent well-being. So this come out with three major findings, which says that digital technology can help the adolescents to stay in touch with their friends and family, and it also helps to create some new relationships. So that is one of the positive effect. And number two is increased access to information and resources, so which they definitely would not have access to if they don't have the digital devices with them. And then enhanced, so they can, if used effectively and rightly, it can be the tool for effective enhanced learning and creativity as well. So there are some additional points also from this particular article, which I have noted down, is that this effects of digital technologies use on adolescents. So it varies, okay, based on the type of technology that the adolescents use and the type of, the amount of time that they spend in different applications. And it also depends on individuals' personality, and it also depends on individuals' coping skills to balance the same. So these are all some of the variables that has been discussed in that particular articles. And it has also been suggested that it is very important for any adolescent to have their digital activities and non-digital activities. They should have to know how to differentiate and or strike a balance between digital and non-digital activities. So that is what. So and it also says that parents and the educators have a big role in this, to help them to develop the healthy digital habits by helping them to limit the screen times, and talking to them about not just about the risk but also about their benefits of using this particular using digital technology. Also help them to model their own healthy digital habits rather than we impose on them. So we could help them to come out with a model of balancing the digital habit by themselves. So these are all some of the takeaways that I've got from this particular article. And there is another article which I've gone through on the positive effects of using this digital technology. So this is not the research itself, but this have taken the research studies for the past 10 years, okay, from 2012 to 2022, for the past 10 years. So all the studies which includes this particular domain, so all those studies has been taken up and then put up in an aggregate form. So 131 articles has been chosen, and out of which 53 are empirical studies, which means it involves samples, it involves people that has been tested out of some variables and brought out some empirical findings out of the study. So this majorly talks and major outcome of these this study, which put together all the studies, is that they identify positive outcomes for adolescents who use different types of digital technology, which includes social media, which includes different internet platforms, and also some video games. So another interesting findings that I've read out of this particular article is that there is a positive association between the time spent playing the video games and the performance that the individuals do, which involves some visual motor integration. So when they have a good time spent on the video games, they have increased performance in the task that has been assigned to them, which involves some selective attention or some visual motor integrations of that sort. So that is one of the interesting finding that I found out of the study. And then it also says that social media, usage of social media facilitates identity development for individuals, for adolescents in particular. And it also creates some social connections, and it leads to positive emotions. So these are all some of the findings. And one more, a study which says, which was done during the pandemic, which says that So playing the video games help them to come out of the stress and anxiety which during those times of adversity. So these are all the outcomes that we have got out of this particular study, which includes many studies for the past 10 years. So this is one thing which I thought I could. Yes. So before I move on to the next thing, so I would like to hear from you people. So we'll do some self-check. Okay, so maybe some people can raise your hands when you say yes to that particular self-check, or maybe you can put a message in the chat box saying yes or your opinion on the same. So we'll do some quick 4 or 5 self-checks on how our digital habits are. Shall we move? Yes. So number 1, using your phone in beds. So how many of us does that? I do. Yes. Thank you, sir, for the response. So most of us does that, right? So we do use our phones in beds till we get sleep. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for the people who have responded in chat boxes. And number 2, checking social media first thing in the morning. Yes, I do. I open up and I look into the phone every morning. Yes, we do. Many of us does that. So thank you for the responses. Yes, so we get to know how good or how bad our digital habits are. Well, the next self-check. So scrolling through the social media for more than an hour without even knowing, okay, we start with something and we just scroll and it more than an hour goes in a day with scrolling through the social media. Yes, many times it happened for me as well. So yes, thank you for the responses in the chat. I would like to hear from more of you. So please pour your, yes, thank you.
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Gayatri. Can you
Yes,
just come to presentation mode? Somebody's put it in the chat as well.
All right. Okay, ma'am. Done?
Not yet. It's still in the.
I've actually transferred to. Is my screen not visible, ma'am?
Your screen is visible, but it's not yet full screen.
It is full screen for me, actually. I don't know why is that.
Can you press that cup icon?
I've done it, ma'am. Actually, it is full screen for me right now for me.
Madam, actually, you are sharing the screen or you're sharing the PowerPoint in a separate window?
Sharing the PowerPoint, sir.
Okay, fine. Because if you share a screen, sometime it will not come. Probably when you share a PowerPoint as a window, it might come.
Is it not visible, ma'am? Should I have to do it again or is it okay? Shall I proceed?
Sriram, what do you suggest, Sriram?
I think ma'am can proceed, madam.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sriram.
Yes.
So it is visible only, very much visible. Where is the confusion?
Okay. All right, I'll proceed. Thank you, everyone. Yes, so yes, we do have that habit of scrolling social media for more than an hour. Yes, feeling anxious or stressed when you're not connected to your devices. Not much for me. I'm not been to that level yet. I would like to hear from you people as well, so that. Yeah, thank you for sharing the chat boxes. Yes, so last checkpoint, missing out on important activities because you're too busy with the devices. Have you ever been? Yes. Thank you everyone for your responses, or at least self-reflection that you have done on these points, which made you to think how good or how bad or how we can rate ourselves on how is our digital habit. So thank you everyone for your responses. Yes, so coming to the, is my screen visible?
Yeah, visible, madam.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so moving on. So how to deal with the digital addiction? So when I say addiction, it is really a complex condition that can be difficult to overcome. So the steps to overcome is that first we have to, first step in dealing with this, addiction is that for any addiction for that matter, we need to acknowledge that we have a problem. So if we are concerned really about that, we got addicted to that particular habit of digital technology, using digital technology quite often. So please talk to a therapist or, a counselor. So the very first step is that we get to acknowledge that, yes, I do have a problem with that. And then we can set the limits. So once you have acknowledged, we need to set time limits, okay, on the usage of the screen time. So this could mean that we can fix the timer for ourselves or using some parental controls. If it is for some teenagers or so, maybe we can help them to do that by using some parental controls to limit the screen timing. And also we need to take breaks, like every 20 to 30 minutes. It's very important to set time for ourselves and take a break and move around, and that will really help us to continue our work and break that digital overburden. So, and then talk to our friends. So if we really need help, we can talk to our friends and family that they could help or support us to overcome the addiction. And yes, as I was saying already, we can seek some professional help to overcome addiction. So these are all some of the ways in which we can set our healthy digital boundaries. Number one, first we can ask ourselves, before we pick up our mobile phone, we should ask ourselves, for what are we picking it up? So when you're using a digital device, before you pick it up, please ask a question, why do we want to use it? Are we really using it to connect with some people, or we are using it to learn something new, or just to escape from some reality? So we just have some self-check and be intentional about the usage, number one. Number two is, are we really feel stressed or anxious or being overwhelmed? So in that case, maybe we should have to take a break. So paying attention on how we feel by using this digital technology, so that will actually help us. And number three is being aware of the triggers. So we have to analyze ourselves whether we are using these digital technology or some social media just to avoid some boredom, or to kill some time, or to just avoid some loneliness or stress. So in that case, if you get to identify the triggers, you can start developing some strategies that can cope up with that particular, those triggers. Rather than replacing it with some digital habits, we can try to develop some strategies that help us to cope up in a more healthier way. So that can be done. And then, as I was saying, so we can take break from digital devices regularly. And then being mindful when we use digital technology. So what I mean by that is that, so when we use a digital technology, we have to be present in the moment and pay attention to what we are doing. So we are not supposed to let ourselves get distracted by some notifications or other stimulus, so that we get to use, we would have taken a mobile for some usage and we would have tend to, out of notification, we would have passed on to some other. So we kind of try to be mindful of what we are actually using, and the need of using that particular usage. And then we should also have to find other activities that don't involve digital devices. Maybe you have to spend some time with your family and friends without the digital devices around you, or going for some walks, or involving yourself into some physical activity that would actually help. And there are some other way in which you can build your digital boundary in a healthy way is that you can use your do not disturb feature in your phone, so that it will put your notifications off. It will silence your notifications so that you can focus on what you actually tend to. And then you can have a separate profile. So when you put on your work profile mode on, there'll be separate ringtone, and there'll be notifications that will be on from the Teams or whatever the official apps that you have. When you have your phone in home mode or personal mode, that will put all your official applications off. That will turn off all your applications. So we can set up the profile so that we can manage our personal, and there are the settings available in our Android and iOS mobile, so we can use that effectively. And we can also, there are some digital detox applications available. I'm not really fond of those, but still there are apps people are using that. Maybe we can use that and track our screen time, and we can kind of put a boundary for ourselves, so that in those way we can set a healthy digital boundaries. It will be really challenging, but it will be really worth it if you were able to manage it, and ultimately it would result in the mental well-being of yourself. So that is all about the healthy digital boundaries. Okay, so these are all some of the resources that I have found. So some of the apps, Moment, Digital Detox, these are all some applications that would help you to keep yourself away from your mobile phone. So the Moment is an app which tracks your screen timing, and it helps you to set the limits. And also it is Digital Detox. It's an app that would help you to take a break from digital technology, and it kind of help you to keep yourself away from online. And Forest is something interesting which I have explored recently. So this will actually help you plant a virtual tree. And then, so when you actually wanted to start a work, you can plant a virtual tree and keep your mobile away so that the plant will grow. So you can set a time limit also. So you leave the app or your phone away. So I mean, you once you are away from the phone, it will grow. So once you take the phone again and check for something, it will die. Okay, so in that way, some sort of mental satisfaction that we get when we have our virtual tree to be grown and blossom. So it's something psychologically appealing. And there are some websites, Calm, Headspace, so which actually help you with guided meditation, procedures and other resources that would actually help you with cope up with your stress and stuff like that. And there are books, some would have read it, and this are the suggestions of the books which would help you to understand and help you to set the boundaries in a healthy way. So yes, so these are all some of the resources that I thought I could share with you people. Yeah, so I would like to end my presentation with this particular question. So what can we do to protect our mental health in this digital age? So while with the presentation that we have seen, with some evidence that we have seen out of the research studies, so we would really could conclude that, or we could say that this is the best thing that we can do is to be mindful of our digital habits. So this is more about being aware of what you do and how much time that you spend on the devices, how much time that you spend on different platforms, and making sure that we are using them in a way that it is healthy and productive, and let us not let it to overrule us. So it is, after all, our brainchild, so we should know how effectively to manage that. So this is all about my presentation. So thank you so much for, I think, finished my presentation in time. Thank you so much. So the forum is open for discussion, or some experience that you can share. Maybe share your own digital detox experience, or digital addiction experience. So I would love to hear them.
Thank you for the presentation, Gayatri.
Thank you.
Like you said, the forum is now open for discussion.
Hello, good evening, madam. This is Professor Sriraman from DG Academy.
Hello, sir.
It was a very nice presentation. I'd just like to share my opinion. One good thing is technology and innovation has brought in a disruption for the humankind. But unfortunately, as you said, all these problems are, I would say, not because of the device or because of the technology. I think it's because of the awareness, which is what is the lacking among the society. And I think the first awareness session we should actually conduct to the parents. I think that is where, what to say, that is the symptoms. I think that has to be addressed. Until whatever sessions or whatever counselings we give for the students or the school level children, it has to be practiced at home. But unfortunately, what I see is parents is the area where we do all good things and finally they go there and it all goes in a reverse direction. I think that is the problem what personally I see we are facing. I think if every parent becomes aware on how to use the digital device, or how to monitor their kids, or how to guide them on how to use it, until that doesn't happen, definitely I think this is not, it is going to never ending phenomenon. It will continue. And parents has to control the kids why they have to take the mobile phones to their bed. They can very well instruct them or put them, no, you keep it away and go to bed. But unfortunately, we ourselves as a parent, we do most of the time.
That is what, like, first
we
we
don't
have
set
to
example
find
for
ourselves.
them.
True.
Yes. And when we ask one simple thing, no, why do you take the mobile to your bed? One simple answer comes is, I want to set the alarm. Or they will say, I want to listen to the songs. So I think these are some of the habits, I think, which has to be really, it has to be, I think that is the area where I see as a person the problems. But honestly speaking, I have two kids. I have my son who has completed his 12th standard, and my daughter who has completed her 9th standard. Both of them doesn't have a mobile phone even today. Even during the pandemic, I have never got them a mobile. They attended their classes through a laptop and a tab, and I got them a dongle. And every day they fight with me, they compare their friends, but I said, no, not required. When it is required, I'll buy and give. Until then, if anything is there, use my mobile or use your mom's mobile. So what all communication comes, it comes to us. I think that is the way, I think we should take it forward, or else it becomes a problem.
True, sir. So I have a 4.5-year-old kid, so I've never given her mobile to watch some videos or so. If she wants to watch, I'll play her in the TV for setting a time limit. So that is how it is. It all starts from us. So thank you, sir, for bringing that point. So
Yes, ma'am. I think that's the where awareness has to go down, I believe. It's my opinion, ma'am. It's not my.
sure, sir.
It's my opinion. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very well put, Sriram. What magic have you put on your children to keep them away from cell phones? Can you share it?
No, see, what happens? No, they try to put a lot of pressure. Telling no, my friend has got my. They put a lot of pressure.
Peer pressure is something they face.
Yes, you should not react for that, or you should not succumb for that. You need to just listen to them, and you should go in their way and actually pacify them. Otherwise, it becomes a problem. They keep putting a lot of pressure on us also. So till now, I haven't purchased for both of them mobile phone. I think that is the area where we have to really look in. That's it, Vidya. I don't succumb to the pressure, but at the same time, I listen to them. I respect their emotions, and I give them the room, but never budge to their demand at this juncture.
Great, Sriram. More power to people like you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Gayatri. This is Dr. Kunshekaran again.
Hello, sir.
This issue, whatever we are discussing today, I think nobody is spared in the world. I think every doorstep has got this issue. That is the reason I was telling that this is the most appropriate topic which is being looked at today. And now it's a question of an addiction now. People are all addicted to see the digital. It's more of mobile only rather than any other gadget. It's
yes.
We can straight away call it as a it's an addiction to mobile. Simple. And like Dr. Sriram was mentioning, the parents themselves are highly addicted than the children, I should say. And now the awareness, we have to decide the course of awareness to be given to whom first, the target audience to be first selected, whether the parents or the children. So that is the question today. And because of that, now the people are all psychologically, getting a lot of depressions also. They are getting completely isolated from the family, and the people are not having any healthy conversations among the family. So this seems to become a very dangerous issue nowadays. So unless otherwise it is looked at a very serious issue, I think we should look. The stakeholders should sit and then find an appropriate solution to get rid of all such kind of things, that before it becomes an issue where we should start opening de-addiction centers in every street. I hope that should not go to that level, but it's an excellent presentation. I really thank you for coming out with a lot of data and the informative session on this. We would like to hear from others also. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that viewpoint. So as you were saying, so it should come from within for every individuals, be it parent or be it a student or a teenager or a children. So it should start from within.
Yeah, so Puneet here, I have a viewpoint. Actually, we are the generation who have traveled from, written memos to emails, and then laptop. Earlier, they used to only desktops, and then to mobile devices. I think the pressure in the workplace is so much because of so much of appification by every organization that information gets bombarded and all the devices are now integrated. There is no option for even an adult, executive or working manager or anybody to stay away from the mobile, because there's an expectation that he or she must reply or look at that message instantly, because all the devices are now integrated. Earlier, there used to be an excuse saying that desktop is at office, and once I go home, I have a good excuse that I need not respond to any email. I'll look at it next day morning. Then came laptops, And then laptops have got integrated with mobile devices now. So the boss sends a mail or a message at 10 in the night and obviously expects a response immediately. And the kids see that, their parents are busy. Both of the parents are working. Both the parents at dinner time will be looking at their mobile devices because some important mail has come. It may not be for entertainment at all.
True.
But it is just sheer work pressure. And then that becomes the norm. If parents are doing it, okay, I have some important assignment which has come. My class teacher has sent some message in the group at 8 in the night. So that becomes a very, very convenient excuse. So we are caught in a very, very vicious cycle. I think integration of all the devices has brought into picture the
made things
explosion of information.
Very complicated.
Yeah, we can't get away. Even if you want to, there is a work pressure, which is an expectation that you must respond immediately. So
yes, sir, I agree, sir.
It's a big issue. I think there's no answer right now.
Thank you for bringing that, the whole different perspective of looking at this thing. Yes, it do exist. Yes, we sort of involved in completely professional work, not so social things, but then the timings. Yes, I do agree. Thank you, sir, for the discussion. Would allow to hear from some students as well. I could see many students are there in the meet. So would love to hear from a couple of the students.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, Sonali. Hi, how are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm good, ma'am. How are you?
Good, great. Yes, Sonali.
ma'am. Actually, I wanted to share my experience that I learned in a place. So actually, I learned this countdown technique for the procrastination that I often do. But I think this helps me in mobile addiction also, because I used to random scroll in YouTube and Instagram and all. So what is this countdown technique is, we have to count from 10 to 1, and after the count of 1, we have to start getting into work. So I use, if I feel that consciously I'm random scrolling, I will count 1 to 10. Or if I am at the time of 7:18 I'm scrolling, I will fix a time at 7:20 or 7:25 I should stop watching this Instagram and I have to get into my work. So I keep time deadlines, or I just do countdowns so that I can stop random scrolling and I can get into work. So this is one thing that I actively do nowadays.
Sounds interesting, but then still we should need that self-restriction, thing to do this and restrict ourselves. So good to know. Good to hear from you, Sonali. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Any other students?
Thank you for sharing that tip, Sonali. Any other student wants to share their tips on how to stay away from the gadgets?
I think the one biggest solution is that you should unsubscribe from all the social media entertainment platforms. But the peer pressure and anxiety is so much that that's what leads to this addiction. People who use mobiles for all other work but don't subscribe to any of these social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest have used their mobiles far less. But I know it's a very, very difficult task, especially for the young generation. But these social platforms are the ones which also cause a lot of anxiety. Am I right, ma'am? Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It does. It sort of put some peer pressure on the students.
Yeah.
and the post and the reels that they do, and they are into pressure that they wanted to do a reel and post it in order to validate themselves among their peer members or the students themselves. So it's sort of it is peer pressure.
Actually, I've shared considerable amount of my time in sales, ma'am. So that no, that time what happens? No, these especially in the month and during the sales closings, you are a larger territory, and the executives from different territories are supposed to put the WhatsApp from 25th to 30th. Okay, what's your achievement? What's your achievement? What's your achievement? The kind of pressure what these professionals have, it's something. No, they bring down. It brings down their productivity. So it doesn't actually
Motivates.
serve the purpose. Yeah, it doesn't motivate. The guy will be motivated, but unfortunately, so since a lot of students are here, don't bother about all those things. Tomorrow, after your course, you may become a professional, right? You will be working under somebody, or you will be having something. But don't bother about all these things. But be very clear on your stand. So that is one thing. And there are many ways where we can control, right? In my instance, how I generally try to control my mobile usage is I keep my notifications off always. I have only the LinkedIn in my mobile. The rest of my social platform I've never logged in through my mobile. Even LinkedIn notifications I always keep off. And I don't have Amazon, or I don't have Netflix or nothing. Those things are not required for a mobile. And I never carry a charger with me when I start from a home in the morning, because that is a problem I see with most of them. Even when I go to class, I see students would have kept their mobile charging in the classroom. I still don't understand why they do it. I consciously ensure I never carry the charger with me. That is something very important. And never, I never attend any of the official things before 9 a.m. Whatever messages comes, whatever comes, I never attend till 9 a.m. Similarly, I never answer anything after 9 p.m. Even if my biggest boss sends, also never answer after 9 p.m. They will ask for 1 day, 2 day, then they know this is way of doing things. They'll
True.
get accustomed, and they will tell, if I have to send message to Sriraman, I have to send before 9.
9
After that,
o'clock.
he's not going to respond. We should not get bogged down because he's my boss. He will send at 11 o'clock. I will answer, nothing like that. And so all these certain controls, we have to be bold in doing this. Then only we'll be able to control ourselves, or else absolutely it becomes a mess throughout the day.
True, sir. Agreed. So now I get to know how you were able to manage your kids with that. So it starts from you. So
Yes, definitely. That matters.
thank you, sir.
Madam, I am Muruganathan,
Hello, sir.
retired official. I find the mobile very much useful for me. Every day, I am reading a number of articles in papers published from different parts of India, and I am even posting those articles in a WhatsApp group, which is read by a number of retired officials. I find mobile a great asset for me. I am using it properly.
Good to know that, sir. Great to know that, in fact.
By sitting in my house itself, I can read the local news. Recently, that bus accident took place in Maharashtra. I went through Hindustan Times, Mumbai. I came to know about the incident in detail. So for reading articles, the news, I find mobile very much useful.
So I understood by the way you say that you keep yourself limited to the access that you are doing in mobile. So that's why you are able to do this.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's a great relief for me from loneliness. I am not employed now.
Nice to know, sir. Any other points for discussion? Else, maybe we can wind up the session, ma'am.
Vidya, if there are no more questions, shall we wind up?
Sure, Sriram.
Yes, yes. Dr. Gayatri, indeed, it was a very useful session and it was a wonderful presentation. And this is need of the hour. And I think such topic should continue because as long as technology innovation is there, all these problems will coexist. So thank you, Dr. Gayatri, for spending your valuable time with us today. Thank you so much for that. And I also thank all our student chapter members and all other people from industry and academia for joining today's Monday Musings. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our CMA President Secretary as well as the Monday Musings team for consistently executing week on week with such wonderful topic. Thank you all from CMA. Good night and meet you next week.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vidya ma'am. Thank you, CMA. And thank you all the students for patiently listening to all the discussions and the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you all the participants. Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you, Sriram.
Thank you,
Thank
Vidya.
you, Shekaran sir. Thank you, Puneet sir, and all the participants. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Have a great week ahead.